it's like the year of Skillet. It's you did the Breaking Benjamin tour earlier this year, Fight the Fury, Skillet. Jen did her thing on Winter Jam. The album comes out this week. It's out on Friday. Victorious, finally. Oh man, I listened to Unleashed about 1 million times a month in, so I've been ready for new Skillet for like 2.5 years now. So I'm pumped.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped. The new record is killer, dude. Then you guys are going out on some tours, but I mean, with how much time you guys spent on this record, producing it yourselves, it's the first time you've been part of the Skillet producing in a while yourself, but the first time you guys have really produced alone. And with how much time you spent on this stuff, how exciting is it to finally get this out to the public, and now the fun begins?
Yeah, you're right. You just summed it up really well. It's been really, really busy. I would say the last year and a half has been the busiest of our career since maybe like the first 2 years when you were like driving your own van and setting up all your own gear. I do not envy. I don't want to go back to that time, please God. But beyond that, we have been working in, and there's a lot of work that goes into producing your own record. But honestly, it was fun, and artistically, it was like, but we're getting to do what we want to do, and that was quite good. So now that it's finally here, I always say releasing a record is like having that baby. You first find out you're pregnant, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 9 months away, I can't wait. And then 6-7 months in, your wife is like, get this baby out of me, I hate this. And then all of a sudden you have the baby, and you're like, oh my God, I wasn't prepared for this.
Right.
You've been waiting for a year. And it's kind of what it's like. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's out. Oh, what does that mean? Are people going to like it? I hope the fans dig it. But in the end, I'm so happy with the record. I want it to come out. I think the fans are going to like it. Can't wait to play it all live.
Yeah.
It's a really it's an electric time when you're releasing a record.
It is. Speaking of comparing it to Baby, it's good. It's a good thing that most of your records the fans have loved, because then you can be like, oh, it's like the best kid ever, instead of what have we done. What did we
Demon
do?
Child.
Right. But there's so much material to sink your teeth into on this record, and so many good songs on this. And I know you're big on 80s power ballads and 80s rock, and with this record, for every heavy song you guys have a great ballad to go along with it, whether it's Fight the Dark or Terrify the Dark. You've got the title track. The title track is powerful, but it's a ballad at the same time. Anchor, which you guys released as a single, there's so many good ballads for every heavy song there is on this record. Was that something you guys wanted to do from the beginning?
Well, thank you. I mean, tell you the truth, no, it wasn't. I was kind of like, man, I want a record that slams. and we were doing all that, but the funny thing is you end up writing, a lot of people don't know, they buy the record, there's 10 songs. This one's actually got 12, but records have 10, 11, 12 songs. And but you write 40, 50, and I think we wrote 48 songs for the record. And then you got to choose them. You got to decide which one. We need something that's gonna be heavy for this audience, and maybe that's too much. And you choose the best songs, and at the end, then you listen to it and you go, oh wow, that's what we chose. And we just wanted to have the best songs that we could. And I think what I really like about this record is that I think no matter what era you like about Skillet, that there's something like that on this album. And I think that's what's interesting, is you have, as you said, Anchor and Terrify the Dark. They're a little bit more on that poppy ballad side, and then you've got stuff like Save Me that's a little bit more like older metal Skillet, and I think that's kind of fun. The last song on the record is a banger. It's one of the heavier things we've done in a long time. It's called Back to Life. That's a cool one. But then you've got like those kind of arena rock songs like Legendary that you kind of can imagine an arena full of people pumping their fists. You Ain't Ready's that's a baller.
Yeah, it is. That's like the second song on the record. I remember turning it, I was like, okay, all right, I think I got a new favorite. But I mean, going in and producing, when you work with outside producers, I know you guys worked with the Churkos a lot in the past. Working on your own and producing, though, how close to your original vision of a song is the final product of these songs? A lot of times producers, the song comes out great, but they change things around a lot.
Yeah, I think it just depends. You know, I said years ago when we were working with Howard Benson on our Awake album, I was kind of like, when I met him, I was like, Howard, I don't think we need help making Skillet sound a certain way. Because me and Korey can do that on our own. You know, we do all the keyboard programming, all the string arrangements we do. Mm-hmm. You know, I got my chops doing classical piano. My mom was a piano teacher, so I play piano, I play the trombone, classical music I understand, so I arrange orchestra parts. We do all that stuff. What I really needed was somebody to come in and just help me not suck. You know, like help me not turn in songs that have bad lyrics and stuff like that, and we can kind of shape the sound.
Right.
Now, yes, that can still change, but a lot of the times I find if we're working with other producers, I might kind of be like, man, you're kind of making me sound in a way that I really want to. I think you sound a little different. Then we start fighting, and we start, you know, massaging it. And I'm always releasing records I'm proud of. I'm not saying I'm not, because I thought Unleashed sounded really great. Mm-hmm. But this time I was like, you know what? Rather than go through all the fighting and all the massaging, why don't we just try it ourselves? I think that we can do it. And because of that, I just kind of gave the reins to Korey, who people listening might not know. Korey's not only my wife, but she's my guitar player, and she does all the keyboard programming, and she's a great producer. Yeah. And we produced it together, but she took the lead, and she's like, man, these guitars they're not heavy enough. And I'm like, go for it. So she was just like, she's like, we need to try this. And I just gave her the reins, and it came back being a really aggressive sounding record. I'm very happy with the way it sounds.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I remember talking to you it was in Chicago 3 years ago. We were talking about the Resistance, and you were talking a little bit about, you had to fight with the label a little bit about the jam session at the end of that song a little bit, and they didn't like it, you loved it, and so you kind of snuck it in there and kind of went back and forth with them a little bit. Did you have to do any of that on this record at all, or was it pretty much, you know, we're producing it, the label trusts us, you know, believes in it, and they're letting you do whatever you want on this record? Was there any of that with anything on this one?
I would say, and you know what, I'm going to rewind, because that story that you're mentioning about the Resistance is actually even funnier than what you just said, because it wasn't that they didn't like the jam session, they didn't like the song.
What?
And they didn't like the song, didn't want it on the record, didn't want us to record it, and so as a little bit of a stick it to the man, I recorded the ending without them knowing it. And we turned it in, and somebody's like, what the crap is the end of the song? And I was just like, you know what? I'll tell you what that is. That's a little bit of a screw you right there, because I love this song. I'm tired of it, you know. And it was kind of a joke. And
that's great.
At the end, they're like, hey, we'll give you the song. It's the last song of the record. Well, it became the second biggest song on the album. So the funny thing is that no one really ever knows. And so this time, you know, I think that they were really great to work with. I think they kind of gave us the reins, let us do what we want, and then if they didn't dig it, they would tell us on the back end.
Right.
You know, but truthfully, I was even giggling when you were talking about You Ain't Ready. I mean, when we turned in You Ain't Ready, it probably was the song that I would not have put on the record.
Really?
But the label loved it. Everybody at the label, they were like, oh no, we think this is one of your singles. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll put on the record. And everybody just reviewed the record has been like, man, that song's a thing. Or so you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong this time. I'm smart enough to listen when I need to.
My wife and daughter might have been able to hear that at the end of the hallway of our apartment building when I was listening to that. I had it cranked up, and they're like, what is that? I'm like, it's the new Skillet record. It's pretty good. And just like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Awesome.
Save Me. One of the darkest lyrical songs I've heard from you guys, and I've been following you guys since Alien Youth. Lyrically, pretty dark content on that record, but it touches on some subjects a lot of Christians Christian artists, Christians in general, and the church doesn't want to go down and go anywhere near sometimes. I feel like really needs to be talked at, especially within the church and the Christian community. How important was that avenue to go down for you guys?
Yeah, and funny, that's one of my favorite songs on the record.
Yeah.
It reminds me of old Skillet. It's heavier. The guitars are really riffy.
Yeah.
And it's even a little show-offy. Like, it's got the bridge is kind of quite like, hey, we're real metal musicians if we have to be, and it was kind of fun.
Right.
And,
it's so good.
And again, the lyrics remind me a little bit of older Collide, Come With Those era lyrics. And I thought they were important because, it's like the subject of intimacy that a lot of people say they want intimacy, and maybe that could be spiritual or even, with another person. But intimacy is really hard. I mean, for anybody that's been married, you might think that you want to be known, but it's pretty scary to be known because we all have a lot of things in us that we are just not proud of. And I think that's also goes, spiritually. God knows everything about me. He knows all the things I think, but I don't always feel comfortable telling him the things I think because I know they're not good. So I think that's a song that's a little bit like, I want intimacy, except it really hurts. And that there's a line in the second verse that says, peel back the skin, expose you, take pleasure in the pain. It's not easy to open up this way. It's a little bit of, it's pleasurable to be known, but it really hurts sometimes because the older I get, the more I realize at how much I needed to be redeemed and how much I still need daily redemption. And I don't know, I think that's a pretty powerful thing. I mean, certainly a biblical thing to talk about, but I think that even for people who are not religious, I think that you could relate to that on a person-to-person basis as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and please tell me we're going to hear that song live on the Seven Dust and Alter Bridge tours. Please tell me we're hearing that.
I'm sorry, my phone just cut out. Would you say it again?
So please tell me we're going to be hearing that song live. Is that?
Yeah. In fact, we just started it about 2 weeks ago. We started playing it live.
Yes, I'm pumped. That's like my favorite one on the record, probably. That makes me happy.
Awesome.
I'm ready.
I love it.
And finally, you did the Incarceration Festival. You've done some festivals. I think I've seen you twice this year already. I was at Incarceration. You guys are going out with Seven Dust, going out with Alter Bridge. I know that in the past you've said that for every mainstream or secular tour you do, you like to do some Christian tours as well. It's very important. We've announced the Seven Dust and the Alter Bridge tours. Can we look for some Christian tours coming up in the near future from you guys as well?
I'm not really sure. It's a little bit like we don't know what's going to happen next year.
Okay.
We're going to Europe. Yeah, we do the tours you just mentioned.
Yes.
We go to Europe in November and December and do our own, we're doing a headline run over there.
Sure.
And I'm not sure what we're going to do next year yet. Now, we used to spend, as you mentioned, probably 50-50 Christian touring and rock touring. I do think that's changed a little bit, probably as Christian music has probably become more like worship music.
It really
a little
has,
bit. So it's changed pretty drastically in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So we are doing less of it, but not, in other words, we're not intentionally not doing it. There's less opportunities, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So we're still doing the festivals, and I sure hope that we will do another run. Like, let's see, the last Christian run we did a co-bill with King and Country, and that was really a fantastic tour. I would love to do something like that again, or with Toby, or So I'm not sure what we'll be doing, but I know that we will be doing something.
I think the tour you did with Toby, the Wake Tonight tour, was actually my first Skillet show that I ever went to down in Evansville. And I do know that I think it was the Rise cycle. You guys did mainly like festival runs or a winter jam and a rock and worship roadshow, spirit song, stuff like that. A lot of smaller. And then ever since when Unleashed came out after that, I've seen you guys really focus more on more traditional style tours, and you still do a winter jam and stuff like that here and there, but you're doing more, and I guess evangelizing opportunity tours where you go into the mainstream tours and markets and tour with the mainstream bands, because Skillet's become a lot more popular in mainstream, you guys have, than you were maybe 10, 15 years ago, so there's a lot of opportunities there.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, these days that's probably the bulk of the audience is a rock audience.
Yeah.
Not to say that those aren't also Christian music fans.
Yeah.
But it's a rock audience that would come see us play, and and also, especially in the Christian world, all of the touring moved into event touring, like as you mentioned, Winter Jam, Roadshow, Toby Hits,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden there was a lot less opportunity. So
yeah.
I like doing those tours. The King Country run was awesome. The Awake Tonight tour that you mentioned with Toby was my absolute favorite touring I'd ever done.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Loved it, and you know how it goes.
Yeah, it's just fun to watch, some of the Christian crowds, because they hear a Christian radio plays more of like the Anchor style Skillet or the Fire and Fury style Skillet. So to watch the fans that don't necessarily really still know how heavy you guys can get, to watch their eyes, it's like, what is going on in front of me right now? Oh my God. And just to watch that is so much fun to see. I absolutely love it. It's great. So, but John, we will see you August 17th. We're coming to White River here in Indianapolis with Seven Dust and Pop Evil. I don't know if Devour the Day is on our date or not, but I know American Bombshell from Indy is. That's going to be a great tour, and then we'll see you again in Chicago with Alter Bridge, I believe. Oh man, it's just getting started. It's going to be so good. And, have a safe man, the tour starts next week. Have a safe travel on the road. Stay safe. And, man, we'll be seeing you a lot this year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a busy one, man. I'm just so thankful people are still listening and coming to the tour. And
oh, yeah.
I'm glad that we got to do the interview together. Thanks for promoting the record.